What's up, YouTube? It's Eric, and I decided I wanted to check in with you. Realized it had been quite a while since we'd uploaded any videos to our YouTube channel. For those of you who follow us on other social media, you've seen this mug on Facebook Live a few times, but other than that, we've really been kind of out of touch. So we just want to take a few moments and bring those of you who don't know what's been going on up to speed. That sounds really ominous. There's not really anything going on. I guess I'll get to that in a minute. Not to make light of the situation, but COVID has really put a damper on a lot of different things. I know you know that. I know you know a lot of bands, touring bands, have had to put tours and shows on hold. And when they are doing them, it looks a lot different than it used to. And I've seen some like drive-in type events and stuff like that. But for the most part, the music industry is just kind of like in a perpetual holding pattern, and that hasn't impacted us personally as much as maybe it has other artists, but it has impacted us in terms of not being able to get out and at least play a few shows. So just to kind of turn back the clock a little bit, most of you know we released our first full-length CD recording, Out of the Darkness, back in September of 2019. We had a back-to-back event where we played in Hartford, Connecticut one night, and then up at Dan's Church in Massachusetts the next night. And then other than that, we only played one show before COVID kind of took over. Part of that's because of us. We usually take some time off from playing live shows in November or December. That's kind of like what we call our writing season. We like to just dial it back and do a lot of songwriting that time of year. In hindsight, if we had known what was going to happen with COVID, maybe we would have played a few more shows. But we did have a show scheduled for April of 2020 that ended up getting canceled due to the state of Connecticut basically being shut down. But prior to that, right around this time last year, as a matter of fact, we released our lyric video for Gargantua. So, going back just a little further, Confession was the first single off of Out of the Darkness. That was like August of 2019, way before any of this stuff. So Gargantua ended up being the second single, and then COVID hit, and things kind of changed. I know you know that. I know the world changed drastically due to this pandemic. But I had done I mentioned I did a couple of Facebook Live videos. One of those was right around April 2020, shortly after we released our Alive to the radio, which we felt like was the right time for that song. That's all about overcoming what seems like insurmountable obstacles, not backing down from, fighting back against those hurdles, if you will. And we felt like it was a timely release for that particular song. And then, not to fast forward too much, but we were happy to see that song ended up as number 11 on the Some Sort of Rock Show Top 60 of 20. So it's just a real blessing to be included amongst so many talented artists, bands, musicians, and we were happy to see that. But in the time in April when we released it, we were just thinking, look, we were feeling down. We knew other people were feeling down. We just wanted to try and motivate people to, be safe, obviously, but don't become so fearful of what's going on with the virus that you lose track of things that are important. Fast forward to September, we released Going Under to radio. But all along the way, we have been writing. Tim and I, all three of us got together at Dan's Church. I want to say it was like mid-February to start writing. Pretty successful writing session then, but then again, COVID happened, and put a damper on that. But Tim and I, again, in the spirit of Alive, Tim and I were determined to find a way to still write. So we started getting together, Facebook Messenger, and the video feature within Facebook Messenger. We were getting together. It wasn't quite every week or every 2 weeks. Like, we would get together sometimes back-to-back weeks, and then we'd go like 5 or 6 weeks without doing anything. But ultimately, we came up with foundations for 14 songs. So if I kind of map that out, I think with Out of the Darkness, we started with 25 and kind of whittled them down. So in terms of like next project, we maybe could do, if we did all 14 of them, right? We could do another full length. But the reality of the situation is, with travel restrictions, not knowing, what's going to happen in 2021, we're really not mapping it out yet. We have some ideas, but if anything, we learned throughout this pandemic is that tomorrow is a gift, right? You can plan ahead 5 years, 10 years from now. You can plan ahead a year from now, 6 months down the road, 1 month down the road. But the reality is, with this type of situation, you never know what tomorrow is going to look like. So that's been really hard for me as an individual. I've always been a planner. What time do we need to be at the show? How early is load in? What's the set list? What's the band order, stage order look like? Just all that stuff. I've always been a planner. So this was a really stark reminder just to kind of dial that back, enjoy the moment while it's there. It's tough to learn that lesson in this way, but that's what happened. So whereas with Out of the Darkness, when we finished recording the Live Again EP, we knew right away, we're like, we want to do the full length, and we were going to do that no matter what it took. We were going to make that happen, and we did. Now it's like, okay, we have these songs, what do we want to do with them? And I'll be honest, half of them are what I would call mellow, potentially even like acoustic, and half are our standard, traditional sound, the hard, heavy rock that you guys are familiar with. So I'm thinking, as of today, and it's been subject to change, I'm thinking maybe an EP, maybe a handful of singles. Those seem to be the right course of action, but at the moment, like I said, we're all in a holding pattern. So until we can kind of get a little more clarity, and that these things should become a little clearer, start to materialize a little more in the next few months. But for now, it's just, we're gonna keep writing through the winter season here. I know it seems like a very political topic, but vaccines are becoming available. I don't know that the country is going to open up quite as much or as fast as anyone had hoped, but we need to be able to travel to North Carolina to work with Brandon. And that sounds weird to say that. Like, yeah, there's recording studios here in Connecticut and in Massachusetts and probably in Rhode Island, just not sure of what they would be. But our experience over these last two projects, going to North Carolina and working with Brandon in the Fallen Sparrow Studio, say that 5 times fast. Our experience has been top notch. So I'm not one that's going to rock the boat in that situation. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So my expectation would be that sometime in the next few months, and I'll follow back up with everybody, or we'll follow back up with everybody once we have a better picture, a better idea of what's going on. Sometime in the next few months, we will start to put some kind of plan together to get some kind of music out. Now, I don't know if that's going to be later in the year that the music will finally come out, or if it'll be early 2022 that the music comes out. I do know with Live Again, we recorded in October and released in May. And then with Out of the Darkness, we started tracking in October and didn't release until September of the following year. So depending on what we end up doing, singles or EP or full length, that will kind of force those kinds of timelines. So even if we were going to go to the studio tomorrow and start working on a full length, you probably wouldn't see that until 2022 anyway. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of the timeline we're working with, and again, nothing is even remotely set in stone. We are still working our way through the songs. Again, I mentioned they have foundations. It's basically, you know, lyrics and guitar. I think maybe Dan did some drums to one of the tracks before COVID struck. And some of the songs, I say they have foundations that really might just be like a chorus, you know. So there's pieces of 14 songs. Certainly, if we book studio time, we could put those songs together quickly enough that we would be able to, you know, have full 14 songs. But then it gets into, you know, money. Are we gonna have enough financially? I hate to talk about money, but really, it's a reality situation. If we're gonna have enough money to do another full length, I don't know. But that's where we're at. We have been. I feel like we've still been busy. I know you guys haven't heard from us. Obviously, there's no new music for us to release for you. I wish there was. Trust me, I'm a fan of music too. I like following bands too. So if bands could put out a full length CD every year, every 6 months, that'd be great. But that's not the reality of it. Maybe, you know, again, I think at this point, still trying to figure out some of the finer details. But hopefully, we'll have new music for you guys either later this year or sometime in 22. In the meantime, I'll keep checking back in. You know, if I can get together with Dan or Tim or both, we'll check in as a group. But want to let you guys know where we're at. It's been a while since we've heard from us. Apologies for that. It's not for lack of trying. It's just everything's super busy with family and our regular jobs, which we're so thankful to have. But that's where we're at. I probably talked for way too much, but again, it's been a while since I checked in with you guys, since we've checked in with you guys. So wanted to give you that update. And thank you again. Thank you for your support through all of these years and all these trying times. I really do appreciate it. We love you guys. And we'll talk soon. All right? Take care, guys.